Hello everybody, welcome back to another video, and today we're once again going to be going over Hurricane Dorian. So this is now a Category 2 hurricane. It was a Category 3 hurricane earlier, but there wasn't much of a difference, only a 5-mile-per-hour weakening. So really it's about the same as this morning, and it really hasn't weakened much. And you can see how the eye is still offshore, and we haven't saw a landfall yet. Earlier it was looking like we might, but thankfully it did take that northeastern turn, or north-northeastern turn, and you can see there was a cold front. There is a cold front somewhere across this region in North Carolina, and it should be moving it really fast to the northeast by tomorrow, but it really should start getting its act moving fastly by tonight and tomorrow morning. So you can already see how it's starting to move that northeastern way because the cold front kind of is starting to push it. It's not forcing it really hard right now, but it will start once we get throughout the next few hours. But you can see how we have saw a lot of impacts across South Carolina and parts of North Carolina today, especially Wilmington, Myrtle Beach, Charleston, Georgetown, South Carolina, kind of like that. And that's pretty much what we've been seeing today. A lot of severe weather, which I will show you, a lot of winds and stuff like that. So I will be showing you some stuff at the end of the video, so do stick until the end of the video so you can see some of the impacts we have been seeing today. There are a lot of pretty cool videos about this system. So you can see right now, northeastern South Carolina, along the coast, you are towards Myrtle Beach, maybe even Charleston. You're starting to get out of it a little bit, but still a lot of impacts. Today we saw a lot, and I saw some videos. It was crazy, but you can see across Wilmington, moving into southeastern North Carolina, part towards the coast, we're getting a lot of impacts, and we are expecting those impacts to move across most of the North Carolina coast by tonight, easing into it, and it should be out of South Carolina, or the bulk of the impact should be ending tonight, or maybe just really early tomorrow morning. The bulk of it. We will still see some impacts, but not as many, and it won't be that bad. So you can see how across North Carolina we are seeing that, though. We do have the eye wall hitting a lot of the coast really bad, and that we are expecting a possible landfall across North Carolina. There could be multiple landfalls if this does do it correctly. So you can see how if it does, it could make landfall across here. And if we were to look at this, you can see we do call these the barrier islands. If no one does know, they're called the barrier islands, and you can see how there are many of them, and they're just kind of broken up. So there's a lot of ocean in between them. So pretty much what we are thinking is if it does make landfall along them, we could see multiple landfalls across each island. So that's kind of what I was talking about. But you can see how tomorrow and tonight we are seeing crazy impacts, a lot of severe weather, a lot of wind, a lot of rain. Also parts of Norfolk into Virginia Beach, moving into coastal Maryland, we're seeing a lot of impacts, really bad impacts, especially across North Carolina, really bad hurricane conditions. And you can see how this does go on the coast of Maryland, parts of coastal Virginia once again, and you can see how New Jersey, coastal New Jersey, you could see some wind and rain impacts, and you can see how this across the northeast, tomorrow and parts of Saturday, we could be seeing some rain and stuff like that, and some winds across the northeast, especially coastal Massachusetts, Nantucket. We are going to be seeing it, but you can see the main storm is staying off coast for now. The worst of the impacts will be right offshore near Nantucket. You can see here's the worst of the impacts. Here's Nantucket. So it's really close to being in part of the worst part of that storm, but right now it's not looking like it. But we are expecting winds and rain, and that's why we do have a tropical storm watch across coastal Massachusetts and stuff like that. So you can see how we do keep moving. Coastal Maine, you're getting hit by a lot of rain, and then hopefully this will move out by your late Saturday, we are expecting, or maybe mid to late Saturday, and we will still have a lot of moisture behind it across the northeast. So that's kind of what we're seeing. When it comes to rainfall, you can see across South Carolina we could see an additional about 6 to 8 inches, maybe even a little bit more, but right now South Carolina, you're starting to get out of it a little bit. As we get into tonight, we will start getting out of it a little bit, but as we move inland, it does get a little, of course the rain totals get a little less, but we are still expecting maybe another 6 to 8 inches or a little bit more across South Carolina today, so you're not out of it. And even tonight. So you can see across coastal North Carolina, we have about 6 to 10 inches on top of what we do have now. So we already do have some rain today. We are expecting maybe another 6 to 10 inches on top of it. Virginia Beach, about 4 to 5 inches, maybe even a little bit more towards your 6 inch or 7-inch mark, and then as you go more inland in Virginia and North Carolina, the rainfall lessens. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Now, if we were to keep moving up the East Coast, you can see across Washington, D.C., 3/4 of an inch, New York, 8/4 of an inch, and then as we get into parts of Massachusetts, maybe an inch, and once we get into coastal Massachusetts near Nantucket, we could be picking up maybe 2 or 3 inches of rain, maybe 1 to 3, but right now it's looking somewhere around the 2-inch mark or maybe even a little bit more. So you can see across the New Hampshire coast, maybe an inch of rain. The same deal with Maine, maybe an inch of rain or a little less, maybe a little bit more. So it's kind of just around the inch. And you can see as we get to the very southeastern part of coastal Maine right here, or if you want to say northeastern, however you do want to say it, just the northern coast right here. That's kind of where we're going to be seeing maybe 1 to 2 or a little bit more, but still won't be terrible rain, but it will be a good soaker and could trigger some flash flooding. So that's kind of what we're seeing. Then, of course, some rain across Nova Scotia could be the equivalent to some of the rain across Virginia Beach, or maybe even parts of North Carolina. You could be picking up quite a bit of rain across parts of Nova Scotia. You can see parts about 4 inches, just like you do have in Virginia Beach. So that's kind of what we're seeing in the very southern part of Nova Scotia. Okay, as we do, we're going to go ahead and move into the maximum wind gusts we could be seeing. So you can see some of the wind gusts across the coast could be around your 100-mile-per-hour mark. You can see the max wind gust up here is 126 miles an hour. So we could see a 126-mile-per-hour wind gust about that, and it could be pretty bad. Sustained winds, probably somewhere around 60 to, I would say anywhere from 60 to 80 or a little bit more, but around 60 to 80 is your sustained winds. Now, as we move a little bit more inland, your wind gust will be anywhere from 50 to 70 if you're a little bit more inland from the beach. And once we get around your Raleigh area, maybe 40 to 60, maybe a little bit less, we are seeing impacts there. Now, across the South Carolina coast, those we've already saw those today. We did see some really bad wind gusts, maybe somewhere around 100 I did see. So we already kind of did see that, but we are focusing on the North Carolina coast today a little bit. So that's kind of what we are looking at when it comes to wind gusts. Mainly the North Carolina coast, but you can see across a lot of the North Carolina coast, pretty much the whole coast, anywhere from 90 to 100-mile-an-hour gusts. Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on back to the National Hurricane Center, and we're going to go ahead and look at this. So you can see Charleston, we're not expecting much more storm surge today. Myrtle Beach, we could see a little bit more storm surge. We're not out of it. Myrtle Beach, you're kind of in the thick of it right now. We could be seeing anywhere from 1 to 3 foot storm surge, so anywhere from 12 to 36 inches of the ocean could be rising onto the land and just stacking on top of each other. That is a very bad situation to be in. The same in Wilmington, anywhere from 1 to 3 feet of storm surge. Okay, my main part of concern will be across Havelock into parts of New Bern, also as we do move into Washington, North Carolina, stuff like that. And like Beaufort County and stuff like that, you can see that's where my main concern is, around Blount's Creek, Aurora, something like that. Blount's Bay, you can see, that's kind of where my biggest concern would be when it comes to this, around Chocowinty. This could be about 3 foot of storm surge widespread, and it also could be a little bit more. Now, that is the same deal as we do come across here, across Hoboken, Messick, Lowland, as we move into Bayboro, Oriental, right here. I can't get an exact spot. Maybe Bonner Bay. This is along the Neuse River, which does flood a lot when it comes to tropical systems. And you can see the same deal across the other part of the Neuse River, across Cataract and stuff like that. So you can kind of see what I'm saying. Stacy, Long Bay, West Bay, Point of Marsh Target, whatever that is, Cedar Island National Wildlife Refuge, and Cedar Island, stuff like that. That's kind of where we're seeing the worst of our storm surge. As we do move into other parts of the Carolinas, you can see we do have another spot of 1 to 3 feet of storm surge. So really along a lot of these lakes and stuff like that, we are seeing the worst of our storm surge happening. And you can see how once it moves up the North Carolina coast, the direct North Carolina coast, 1 to 3 feet of storm surge, even Virginia Beach, 1 to 3 feet. Moving into parts of course, coastal Virginia, maybe even coastal Maryland, about 1 feet of storm surge. So really our worst storm surge, we're focusing somewhere around this area. You know where you are if I am circling you, but this is where I do have the most concern for storm surge. Maybe we could even move it into this region. So that's kind of where I'm worrying about the most. Okay, so if we were to move into severe weather, we do see severe weather in hurricanes. It's not out. That's not unusual, and we have been seeing a lot of that today. I'm about to show you some in the next tab, but you can see right now we do have an enhanced risk across most of the North Carolina coast. So um, they're pretty much on the northeastern side of the storm today, which is usually where we do see our biggest threat. So this is definitely going to be throughout today and into tonight. When the bulk of the storm still does move in, we will still see we will still see some of that severe weather. But you can see the severe weather is expected to be anywhere from the green to the orange, and then the orange and the yellow is kind of where it's more likely. And if you're anywhere in that light green, that's kind of where just those outer bands. We also do have that cold front I was talking about earlier that'll move this storm northeast. You also could see some severe weather across there also. So kind of just anywhere, if you're anywhere in North Carolina or maybe even northern coastal South Carolina, moving into Virginia, coastal Maryland, coastal Virginia, you could be seeing some thunderstorms today. And once you get on the coast of coastal Virginia into coastal North Carolina, we are seeing actual severe weather, and it could be pretty bad. So if we were to go to counties, there you are. If you want to find your county, if you know where your county is, it's very important to know what your county is. But you can see if you do see your county, that's kind of where you're seeing the most of your risk. And that orange is where we're expecting the worst, even the yellow. Okay, so if we were to go ahead and move on to videos from today. So we have saw a tornado, quite a few tornadoes today. This says Hurricane Dorian is spinning up a slew of tornadoes here. So here's why. So that pretty much is just saying it's spinning up a lot of tornadoes. This is from the Washington Post, and we are going to watch some videos. So this was in North Myrtle Beach Thursday morning, and you can see that funnel going by. This is very interesting to watch. So I'm pretty sure this was a water spout, if I'm not mistaken, before. And I know a lot of people are familiar with the Myrtle Beach area. This is North Myrtle Beach, just a little bit north of Myrtle Beach, as you did hear in the title. But you can see how it's going by a hotel, kind of where people are, but you can definitely see where that tornado is. And you can see the trees blowing from just the hurricane also. So you have a tornado and a hurricane at the same time. That is not good. So this is kind of just what we're seeing. It just keeps moving closer to land, and we're seeing this. So you can see this is another water spout across Stella on the White Oak River. So you can kind of see right here what I'm talking about. So you can see here's a water spout, and it, not any threat to land right here. You can see it does move a little bit inland after a little while, but usually once it moves inland, it can weaken a little bit, but this one really does not. So this one did keep its circulation. So even though I did say it's not a huge threat to land, it can be, which is what this video is doing, but it did weaken a little bit once it got on there. But I see still water spouts can turn into tornadoes, or sometimes you just do see the tornadoes. This was from Weather Nation. They said they were right in front of a tornado that passed through Carolina shores this morning. There were reports of damage in this area from the storm. So there was damage from this tornado. You can see how it just moved across, and there was a lot of rain, so it's kind of hard to see. But you can see right there where we do have the tornado moving through across the road, and they were just right in front of it while they were driving around the hurricane. But you can see it go by right here, the tornado, and you can see there's a lot of the signs coming up, some of the trees coming up off their roots. That's kind of what we just did see. If we were to look right here, you can kind of see it. Sorry about my dog in the back, but you can see a lot of that debris in the air right there, which is kind of what we're looking at. And that's how you usually do know we're getting damage, because that is the damage. And if we were to keep looking, this is a video of a tornado passing near Pindy Counter Fire Station 18 along Highway 17 near Sidbury Road. No one here knows what that is. I don't know what that is. But you can see how this was another tornado associated with Hurricane Dorian. Just these quick spin-ups that do come across. But you can see here is a tornado that did go through. A lot of these were water spouts before. I don't think this one was. But a lot of these are bringing damage. You can see the debris in the air, so that's really concerning. Usually we don't see like EF5s or anything like that, but we can get some quick spin-ups that aren't as bad. But you can see how this is at 7 a.m., so these were pretty bad, some of these. This was damage from a possible tornado near Longs. I think that's the place called Longs. And you can see how there was a lot of storm damage that took away the roof. You can see how the water came in, so there's a lot of water damage now also. So once you get that roof to go away, you get a lot of that water to come in. At this time, the sun was shining, but I can be assured right now it's probably in it pretty bad. If we were to look where Longs is, actually, I do want to kind of see what state that's in. really quick. So if we're to look longs, we'll see if it does tell me. I can't spell. Okay, if we're to look at longs, I don't know if it'll tell me. Yeah, it's not going to tell me. If we try North Carolina, it may be in North Carolina. I don't know. Yeah, no. Maybe. So this, long South Carolina. Okay, that was northwest of North Myrtle Beach. So this is really close to North Carolina, but it's pretty much like right here, it does say. So somewhere across here is where that last tornado was. So there are a lot of spin-ups between Myrtle Beach and Wilmington into coastal North Carolina. We did see one across Emerald Isle today. I do want to show everyone. I don't know if they did. I don't think they had this one. I will show the Emerald Isle tornado today, and you will be surprised by this one. This one did surprise me too. So you can see how this one was by Dorian, of course, and you can see all the destruction that did come by this hurricane. So this was a very bad tornado that did come through. You can see a car right there just ripped up, the house ripped up. This was in a trailer park, so usually trailers do get damaged a lot. So there's a lot of damage there, and there's been a lot of quick tornadoes today, just a lot going on. So yeah, guys, I hope y'all did enjoy today's video. If you did, consider subscribing and leaving a like down below. A lot to worry about: winds, rain, severe weather, pretty much everything but snow. Pretty much. But I do hope y'all enjoyed today's video. I hope you did, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day.